There we go. Okay, everybody rise for the flag salute and invocation by Trustee Cooley. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Trustee Cooley.
Please bow your heads for a moment of prayer silently. Thank you.
Okay, revision, adoption, ordering of the agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, vote now, please. It hasn't come up yet. All right, since the system is malfunctioning, I'm just going to vote orally, and I will put yes on my vote. Okay, report out of closed session.
There is no report this evening out of closed session, Mr. President.
Okay. Okay. There we go. Okay, district update by the superintendent.
Okay. Happy New Year, and it's January 21st. Can't believe I'm still saying that. But it's our first board meeting of the new year, and we welcome everybody that's here, and I'm going to tell you some great things going on in the district. First of all, Ms. Davis, do I introduce Joe Williams myself, or are you going to introduce him for the Rave Award, to give out the Rave Award? Oh, actually, okay, I'll introduce Mr. Swartz, who's on first. Mr. Swartz, Mr. Williams, would you please come to the podium, and let's do this month's Rave Award, which is well-deserved.
Members of the board and public, RAVE is our Recognizing All Valuable Employees, and you may have noticed in this district that we have a little bit going on with technology. And, you know, shortly after it got beyond Jonathan and I, just trying to run everything with the technology, we decided to turn it over to the technology department. After we got past the point of just being able to turn things on, then, which Jonathan and I can do. But they've done a lot. Our technology department is second to none in the state as far as the work that they do. And so under the leadership of Joe Williams, and he wants to recognize one of his really outstanding technology people. So, Joe, with that, I will turn that. You've got your...
If you have not met Slobodan Stevanovic, he worked for us before, and he left to improve himself, and he made great strides, and then we stole him back. And Sloba is the type of worker that you want. He's on managing the A+ project. We switched over to online A+. He's the type of worker who knows when to make decisions, when to notify the bosses. He's very cordial. He's extremely communicative. He actually is the type of employee, I joke, but it is in truth. I tell all my techs that there's a there's a Sloba scale of likability, and you will never reach it. So it's something to aim for. I walk on the campus, and if I'm standing next to Sloba, people who haven't seen him for years are just enamored with him. But he did a fantastic job at following through step by step by talking with student services and Will Warren and myself and Shane, and continually doing, and he did more than we even know on the migration to the A+ system, and he always did it with a smile on his face. So if you haven't met him, this is Sloba. And I'd like to give you this Rave Award. And would you like to say anything? I take all that stuff back. He's not communicative.
Remember, you said he was communicative, Joe.
He is.
Congratulations, Sloba. We're very proud of you. Mr. Williams. Thank you, Sloba. I want everybody in the room to know that yesterday we got some incredible news in the district. Joe Williams has been selected as ACSA, the Association of California School Administrators, Region 19, Riverside County, Technology Administrator of the Year. We will be celebrating all the way up until when he gets his award on May 29th at the Palm Springs Hilton. We'll all be there to cheer Joe on, and clearly we have come so far. And again, making certain that we just don't have really, really cool technology, but that teachers and students are using in the classroom to promote learning. And because you came right out of the classroom, right out of being a TOSA into this, it's just been a blessing for us as a district. And we congratulate you, and we salute you, Mr. Williams.
Thank you.
Speaking of great employees, Tanya Davis, do you want to introduce the District Employees of the Year now?
Yes. If everybody could come up here, and then I'm going to introduce you one at a time. Jeff, Angel, Ben.
We have
Irma, Jose.
Mr. Rodriguez, you have to come forward. Now, we do have two people missing. You want to tell them? I thought you forgot, Tanya.
Don't doubt me.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right. I don't want to steal your job from you.
We do have two people missing, and I'll introduce them first so you know who they are, even though they're not here. We did ask them to come in February. These are our district winners. So we have a district-wide Employee of the Year program where sites and departments vote for their Employees of the Year, and then committees select our district representatives in individual categories. So the people sitting here have been selected as district winners. Audrey Smith, who is our classified Employee of the Year, is not able to be here, but we've asked her to be here in February. And Julie,
What does she do at Heritage High School, Tanya?
She is now a secretary too. She just got promoted from a senior clerk, but she is, I was going to introduce her while she was here, so
Okay.
Can I wait?
Sure. You can do it next month.
Okay. And Julie Zerold, who has been selected as our district principal of the year, and she was unable to be here tonight as well. So who we have here, first off, is Angel Love Behrens, a teacher at CMI.
One of our district
She
teachers.
is one of our 2 district teachers of the year. She has been with the district since 2001, started out as a classified employee, and then is now a teacher at CMI. We're very proud of her and very proud that she is representing us in the Riverside County competition.
Angel. Now, before you know I'm going to comment about practically every single one. Everybody needs to know that Angel has got the biggest heart. She's a great teacher. She's at every event that CMI does on and off campus. And her principals had some issues, medical issues. She, on her own, put together a quilt that all of us signed on behalf of making sure her principal feels better and knows that everybody cares for him. So she not only does great things with the kids, she touches everybody at CMI and throughout the district. So, Angel, congratulations. It's well-deserved.
Okay, and then I would like to introduce Jeff Perez. Jeff Perez is our Classified Administrator of the Year. He is our All-Star Plant Supervisor at Paloma Valley. And to quote what Jonathan says many, many times is the campus is so clean. We get asked all the time how new our campus is, and they're blown away when we tell them how old it is. So, Jeff, you have changed Paris Union High School District. You set the bar for other plant supervisors, and we appreciate everything that you do. It's well-deserved.
And we stole Jeff out of West Valley High School in Hemet a few years ago, and it's been to our credit. You've done a great job there, Jeff. Thank you.
I appreciate your tag team.
My pleasure.
Ben Washburn. He is one of our all-star Heritage High School counselors and commits so much time and effort into the students there. The team over there is amazing, and we are so happy that you're a part of our district team. Ben has been with the district since 2011, so you're fairly new.
Yes.
And already making an impact. Thank you so much for all that you do, Ben.
Thank you very much.
And Ben is amongst a great group of female counselors. He is the only gentleman counselor there, a thorn among all those roses. But I have to tell you a story about him. We had the college fair there at Heritage High School, which is a district college fair, and we want to take care of those recruiters because they have limited places they can go, and who is out barbecuing in the heat and all that smoke on their face? You were making food for all those recruiters, and they kept saying how much they feel appreciated. I know you do that for them, and I know you do that for kids, so thank you very much. Congratulations.
I just wanted to say I've been to 2 board meetings before this, and on both of them I received a pink slip from Redlands Unified and a pink slip from Colton Unified. So this is my 3rd board meeting, and I'm being honored. So I just thank God for that. And Steve Schwartz, the mustache is for you.
This is our glue from Pennicotty Middle School, Miss Irma Marmolejo, who is our confidential employee of the year. Irma has been with the district since 2001, and you've held various positions. But right now, she has trained our new principal at Pennicotty, and literally, she is the glue. I think if I would allow Drew to say anything, he would say wonderful things. And we thank you for all the contributions that you make to the district.
You know, I'm going to have to chime in, Irma. We can clap, and I'm going to chime in. You know, a lot of people love Pennicotty Middle School, but nobody more than you. When we showed you the plans we were going to do to build the new school there and rebuild Pennicotty, I sat there with you, and you cried because you have been there through thick and thin, and you helped train now a second principal. Don't forget you trained Dr. Newman to be a principal as well. But nobody cares more for the kids and the staff at that school and the parents and lives in our community and supports the school as much as you, Irma. Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Okay, this is the wonderful Joe Rodriguez. And he is our ASB director at Paris High School. He's been with the district since '07. And I think if you were to walk on Paris High School's campus, you would see his touches everywhere. The kids love him. He makes a huge impact every day that he's there. We thank you so much for all that you do. He is our second district teacher of the year, and we couldn't be more proud to be represented by you.
And when we came by, we tried to round up some students to come by to tell you you were Teacher of the Year, and when we did that, we had to stop after we got to about 15 kids. It was like we couldn't, everybody wanted to go and recognize and honor you, because I think loving a school that's in transition, we're rebuilding the school. Obviously there's newer schools in the district, but you truly embody being a Panther. And you truly, no matter where the administration has been or who they've been, you've said, our kids deserve the best at this school. I'm going to make sure they get the best. And so, Mr. Rodriguez, it's so exciting to see you being recognized as Teacher of the Year.
Mr. Swartz. Okay. As Steve works his way down here, Steve has been with Paris Union High School District since '07, worked in HR the entire time, made a huge impact on the district. I think one of the proudest compliments, or one of the best compliments he's received, is numerous times being told that he allows employees to keep their dignity in a meeting. Some of his duties are difficult, and he strives very hard to allow employees to keep their composure and respect, and that has changed what we do here in Paris Union High School District. So he is our Certificated Administrator of the Year, and we couldn't be more proud of that fact. Congratulations.
Yeah. Well, they say the head of the HR department is the conscience of the district. They say that in other districts, and I have to tell you, Steve, you're really the conscience of the district. You always are advocating for and caring about our employees and doing somersaults if you have to help them out. And so, congratulations.
Okay, real quick, everybody back in for a picture. Tanya, you too.
Put that rose between those two thorns there. There you go.
1, 2, 3. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Paris Union High School District Employees of the Year. Speaking of Dr. Newman, stand up and come to the podium. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Newman he used to be Mr. Newman at the last board meeting. He has successfully defended his dissertation at Pepperdine University, and he is now Dr. Charles Newman. We're so proud of you. We're going to school, having two very busy young men and being married and everything else that goes with your job, to be able to do that program and get it done, and get it done before Ms. Zero got it done, which let everybody know they both went to Pepperdine, and Charles started after Julie. So, but she's going to be recognized as Principal of the Year, but she's not here, and frankly, I'm going to make fun of her.
Please make sure you let Julie know I wasn't the one that's made that statement.
Okay. Mr. Newman, you're going to have you want to say something about this guy? Take your shot,
Dr.
Marcy.
Newman, we're so very, very proud of you. But we do have one question. What in the world are the two clothespins on your tie for?
These were passed out by ASB from Paris High School.
Very good. Okay, I thought maybe you had forgotten where you're going after
Tie
that
pin or
doctorate, that
something.
high level of
I don't want to steal their
achievement.
thunder. I'm sure they're going to share that with
Very
us. when they
good.
do
Thank you. We thought maybe it was something personal with being a doctor now.
Anything you want to add, Mr. Newman?
No, I just wanted to say thank you so much, and just thanks for all your support over the years and help through the process in terms of getting everything done. So appreciate all your help and your great example.
My pleasure. Thank you. Congratulations. Well, on January 10th and 11th, we had a great tournament, robotics innovation tournament going on at Paris High School. We have Marcy Savage and the Diane Martin here to talk about that. Diane, you act like you did not know that was happening. But you could come up and assist your boss.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Okay, it's on. Thank you for the opportunity of just sharing. I just want you to know, I'm going to ask Shane Pinnell to come up and stand up here as well. Come, Shane. Okay. On January 10th and 11th, while most of you were finishing up your 3-week break, we, the three of us and many other people in this room, had the wonderful opportunity of spending 27 hours at Paris High School. On Saturday, Paris High School hosted the FTC tournament, which is the robotics first, I call it first ever, but robotics competition. There were 28 teams on Saturday and 26 teams on Sunday, or do I have it reversed? From all over Southern California. It was phenomenal. But I have to start by saying Diane Martin is truly the robotics mom of our district. She is mom. She's robo-mom. It is. I like that. We'll have to get her a little thing, robo-mom. She is the one who brought several years ago Gears to Robots, and people just hooked into this. They just absolutely... It's been like a wave that has just continues to build. And Diane has orchestrated, worked very closely. She's found advisors at each of the comprehensive high schools, as well as at CMI. Pinnacotti is even hooking on to it right now. So with that, we are very proud of what happened at Paris High School. Our teams came, they competed. And what I did was I took a couple pictures because those 2 days they competed. We have watched over the past year these teams just rising to great stardom. Now you're probably going, what's about making robots? You know, it's kind of like playing with Lincoln Logs or putting Constructor together or whatever. Absolutely, it's beyond that. The organization that we're affiliated with is all based on volunteers. So I'm going to sit here and tell you, I'm going to stand here and tell you we need as many volunteers as possible. So if you want to get hooked, just let Diane or myself know. But what happened over at Paris High is they have what they call a pit room. And when you see 28 teams in a pit room constructing these, well, the robots are pretty much constructed, but doing trial tests, collaborating together. And there's anywhere from maybe one team member to maybe 10. Staff was there from Paloma Valley, was Mike Wilson that weekend. From Heritage High School, Stacy McPherson and her husband. From Paris High School was Jackie Cooper and Chris Cooper, her husband. Where am I missing? CMI. Oh, and Heritage was also Richard Santana. His fiance from CMI was Nestor and Richard Van. So kids arrive at 7. They get on a bus, some of them at 5:30. They get there at 7 in the morning, and they literally did not leave Saturday night until about 8 o'clock. And I'm mentioning that, and the same happened on Sunday. I'm mentioning that, and what I handed out were just a couple snapshots from January 10th and 11th, and also from just last Monday. They competed at West Valley High School in Hemet. And on the back are some of the stats. They compete not just in robotic knowledge, but also they receive awards that build on their motto, which is gracious professionalism. And that entails a number of things. An engineering notebook, design of the robot, they're interviewed. Students with a high GPA have separate interviews. They have to work together. And these are all the different awards. I didn't outline exactly what each award was focused on because in March, the robotics teams will be here to let you enjoy their tremendous accomplishments. But the one thing before I pass this over to Shane and to Diane, I just have to tell you, I went home after 2 days. I mean, it was like 40 hours straight of preparation, a lot of hard work from everyone. And I thought to myself, gosh, every month at the board meeting, we look at discipline, we look at suspension and expulsions. And there were 150 to 200 students, 27 hours, never sitting. All we did was feed them, support them, and not one discipline issue, not one incidence of bullying, not one foul word. The parents were there supporting them, so there were another 150, 200 parents. And I just have to tell you, when you engage students, that was the message that came across. When you engage students, that discipline just absolutely dissipates. There's absolutely none. I have never been so proud to be among the students of Paris Union High School District as I was those 2 days and this past Monday. They are the most courteous, respectful, brilliant people, students, who probably didn't have a chance at their schools to connect, to really show their skills. Because I don't mean to offend anyone, but this is the CIF for geeks. These kids compete. They're students who have maybe school anxiety, but they have found something that they connect with. And so I invite you. We have 2 teams, well, probably more than 2, Diane will tell you. 2 teams going on to regionals in Monrovia on February 14th. I know it's a Saturday before winter break or ski week, but it's phenomenal. So but I have to have Shane up here for one reason. Here we are at Paris High School. It was Friday. We start competition like 7 Saturday morning. This man and all his technology support, there was nothing undone. I mean, you just looked at Shane, and he just knew. He kept it alive. Every single moment was so cherished by you and the guys who came with you. So I can't say enough. Just can't say enough. Technology, you are absolutely phenomenal. Here we were in the old gymnasium. Nick Hilton, thank you. Your staff was absolutely wonderful. Custodial staff, I hope they showed up for work on Monday. That Monday. So with that, if we could give Shane and Diane, RoboMom, a big round of applause. Okay, that's all we need to say. Okay.
All right, thank you very much.
I'd love for you to join us on February 14th. It is Valentine's Day, but we are going to have 4 teams representing Paris Union High School District, so we'd love to invite you to join us.
Thank you. Congratulations. During a 4-week span in October, a group of ASB seniors participated in the Teen Safe Driving Contest, which brings awareness to the various issues that distract our teen drivers. The campaign they created and implemented went up against numerous Southern California high schools. Paris High was awarded one of 3 first-place prizes of $500 for their efforts. The money they won will go towards the senior gift to improve the aesthetics of the campus at Paris High School. Following seniors are to be congratulated: ASB President Alejandro Ramirez, ASB Vice President Izzy Campbell, Senior Class Treasurer Bianca Gomez, Director of Music and Support Augustine Machado, Director of Athletics David Reyes, Director of Clubs Jordan Traylor, and Director of Spirit Yesenia Martinez. So that's quite an accomplishment. Congratulations to Paris High School. A couple other things that I want to mention. Sarah, did you distribute these? Okay. Sarah is going to be handing these out, and I'm going to be talking so that I can make the meeting go a little bit faster. What I wanted everyone to see is a program to the Student of the Month program. This is the program that occurs every month at the Sizzler in Paris, where we recognize a student from a graduating senior from each of our comprehensives, and we alternate between Paris Lake and CMI to make sure their students are recognized as well. This is put on by the business community of the Paris and Menifee Valley Chambers of Commerce. And inside you'll see the people that sponsor the lunch, the people that put gifts in for the students because they walk away with a bag full of goodies. And then on the back, you get to see all of the sponsors of the Student of the Year program. And Mrs. Cooley comes regularly to Student of the Month. Our former trustee, for free. It's now a breakfast, and I have to tell you, here are all of the businesses in our community that support this. And I just hope everybody out there will say thank you to them by supporting their businesses, because even during the tough recession we went through, they made sure that our students were recognized. And so this is a sample program, and it shows students from Paris, Heritage, CMI, and Paloma Valley being recognized. And it's an event, Dr. Rouse, if you can ever get away in a morning, which I know is difficult when you're a high school principal, but if you can get away, you would really enjoy seeing that. Good. Congratulations. And again, there's a couple of people I didn't recognize that are instrumental to this, and that is Lori Ortel and Sarah Rico. They are the people that put the whole program together, make sure everybody's in the right spots, and when I'm emceeing, make sure I have the right program. And those two are, they coordinate the students. Sarah coordinates the whole Student of the Year program, which involves students turning in applications, having oral interviews before a panel, or actually, having their applications reviewed by a panel. And it's quite a big deal. And again, I want to thank the Sizzler, Sally Myers and her husband, for their constant support of that program. Also, want to recognize, as you know, someday the state's going to have a state construction program, so we can match up our local bond to build a new middle school in Paris and a new high school in Menifee. And Baker Nowicki Design Studio have the contract to be the architect for high school number 4, and they received an award. The Coalition for Adequate School Housing and the American Institute of Architects are pleased to inform you that high school number 4, has no name yet, has the distinction of receiving an award of excellence in project design category for the 2015 Cash Leroy F. Green Design and Planning Awards program. So anybody who needs to know, both the new middle school and the new high school are going to be gems. They're going to be beautiful and very high-functioning campuses, and I thank our staff for working with these architects to make sure we're building a school that the teachers and the parents and the community want. So we're very happy to report on that. Recently, on December 16th, Congressman Mark Takano visited the Heritage STEM building. And as you know, next week on January 28th at 3:30, we're going to dedicate that building, and we're going to be bringing STEM to all of our schools. But I'm not going to read this article. I was going to, but we're running out of time. But I really want you to know that one of the comments made by Congressman Takano was, he said, I'm on one of the co-chairs of the Congressional Maker Caucus, and I'm just impressed with the degree of which the administration, the teachers, and the civil use of the school are aligned with the important maker movement that's going on in our country. And we're just, like I said, couldn't be more proud. Can't wait to have you see the kinds of 21st century skills and engineering things that our kids are doing on top of robotics. And again, this will be when we redesign and rebuild Paris High School. We'll have a great STEM program there, and one at Paloma Valley and CMI as well. So that will conclude my report for this evening, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, student representatives to the Board of Trustees. From Heritage High School, Anthony Hushoff and Natalie Bowen.
So first thing, we're just glad to be back. We had a really kind of long break. I was glad to go back to school. Break got kind of boring after a while. And I could tell right off the bat, everybody's ready to be back. Our school, there was no break time. Our ASB got right to work. We're working on MORP right now. We have an idea in mind, and we want to make it something that no one has ever seen yet. So we're looking forward to that.
MORP is going to be a fun time, but before that, the senior class will be putting on a male pageant called Mr. Heritage. Anthony is one of the hosts.
It's something that I was honored to be invited to be a host, and I'd really like everybody from the board to really go. It's going to be a fun time, and it's a family show. It's going to be really awesome. Huh? It is going to be February 6th. Yes. So we're going to be up pretty much all night coming up with scripts and coming up with some talent to put in there, and we can't wait. Another thing that we want to do that just to recognize is our Link crew. Our Link crew put on a ice cream social for the freshmen, and it went, or they're going to. It's coming up, I believe, this Friday. Yeah, but it's going to be, they get to get ice cream and just show that freshmen aren't, they're not the outcasts of the school anymore. Try and invite them to be, to have more participation in school. Along with that, all they need to do is bring their ID card to show that they're a freshman, and we have little cups of ice cream, or we'll have ice cream bars to give to them. And it's something I like to do.
Plus is also doing a lot of work at Heritage High School. They're working on their forum, and they will have it tomorrow. So
they've been having a huge impact on the school. All of our leadership classes have been doing a lot more than I've seen the past 4 years. At one point, since Link Crew is new to us, Link Crew the first year wasn't big. I had never heard of it until my junior year. And same thing with Plus. I really didn't know about them till last year. But this year they've been stepping up, and I'm liking what they're putting on campus, spreading their happiness across. I want to congratulate the Patriot Robotics Club. They've been doing amazing, and I know a lot of people that's in the robotics club. And it's awesome seeing them when they text me in the morning saying, we got first place. I'm like, I tell them all congratulations, and I hope that since they're going to regionals, both of our teams, I hope they do great, and I can't wait to hear what they do back. Other than that, that's pretty much going on for Heritage this month. Thank you for having us over, and good evening.
Thank you. Trustee Cooley.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Kayla Lee, and I'm the representative for Paloma Valley High School. There we go. What button do I press? This one. All right. So this is an English teacher, Matt Thomas, and he is officially a part of the National Martial Arts Hall of Fame. He flew over to Seattle for the ceremony over winter break, and now he has been inducted with a bunch of other distinguished members, so that's pretty cool. This is Carl Bradford. He used to go to Paloma. He played football his freshman and sophomore year, and now he is playing with the NFC Championship with the Green Bay Packers. Sadly, the Packers lost in overtime, but but I still think it's super cool to have a former Wildcat playing in the NFC Championship. This year, our wrestling team is pretty young. We've got 5 seniors in a team of around 40. They just recently played in the prestigious Battle for the Belt with over 80 other schools, or other people. Yeah, not schools. My bad. In Temecula, and they are currently in 2-1 in league match. We have our very first Lady Wildcat water polo team, and they're a little inexperienced, but we're the Wildcats. Give them some time, and they'll be amazing. NJROTC recently went to the USS Midway and presented the colors for a retirement ceremony for a chief warrant officer. The boys basketball team is having a great season. They've got a league record of 2-2, and this week we beat Heritage 79-52. Girls basketball, also great, 3-1 league record. This week we beat Heritage 65-30. Boys soccer is 2-2 for league so far this year. This week we beat Heritage 2-0. And girls soccer, another great year. They have a record of 4-0, and we also beat Heritage 5-0. Yes. Not to pick on you guys, Heritage. We love you. We added two new special needs, special education teachers, and to make room for them, we switched their offices with the break room. Now they have room to walk around and not bump into each other, and they could even sit down with their students. And our counseling area is now going to have room for a career center. It's still under construction, but once it's up and running, students will be able to go there and get information about college applications, career searching, and their FAFSA applications. Terry Bradley is moving from athletic director secretary to counseling receptionist, and the girls' soccer team surprised her today with a huge thank you for all of her hard work with helping the athletes and the teams for the last several years. And that is the end. I'm Kayla, and that's the end of that.
Thank you, Michaela.
Thank you.
Trustee Agundes.
From Paris High School, student rep Ashley Jackson.
Okay. Hello. Good evening, President Nelson and board members, Superintendent Greenberg and Cabinet. I am Major Ashley Jackson from Paris High's ROTC. Melissa Vasquez, my fellow board member, could not make it with me. Representative could not make it here with me tonight, but I do have freshman class president Hannah Seaver here to help me out. Okay, so coming back on break, I would like to start off the amazing things that have been going on in the physics department here at Paris High, doing work with Arduinos. Okay, so just stick with me on this. Okay, Arduino is called an open source prototyping platform. This means that it is a hardware-software combination that allows students to build interactive devices with little programming knowledge. The software compiles the language process into a language called CC++. This saves us years of college programming and allows us to build cool stuff today. The central idea for this device is to promote and build amazing inventions to show that we can make this thing work. The Arduino program is an awesome fit for Paris High School as we have not got the program running without a cost of licensing or purchasing computers, meaning all the stuff that we're using, everyone around the world is using it as well, and we haven't had to pay for it. It's really great. But as much as you can only understand from me, we also have a video to show you that Mr. Hayes, our department in charge of Arduino Club, has made for you guys. So I hope this understands more.
Hey there, I'm Mr. Hayes. This is Paris High School Physics, and we'd like to update you guys on what we've been doing. So one of the things that I love about my students here at Paris High School is we love to build things. We love to see them work. So here's Oscar building a distortion pedal for his guitar. Here's students competing on building circuits for time. And so when I came in contact with this Massimo Bonzi, the co-founder of Arduino, I took interest. His famous quote is, "You don't need anyone's permission to build something amazing." So he built this Arduino microcontroller and the open source integrated development environment that lets us use it for free without licensing. So we started about a year and a half ago trying to figure out how to use these things, and here's one here, and this is an LED being turned on with a light sensor. Students collaborating on technical reading. Lots of wiring and trying to figure out how to put detectors together. Here's the basics that you guys just got us in October, new November. Some netbooks and our Arduino kits. So some things we've been doing with those are building cool things. Here is Mr. Crenshaw building something. Yeah. Here is a student trying to figure out how to program a liquid crystal display by deciphering technical text. And here's what he built. Hey, what's up? And there's the contrast control there. Here is how bats see. This is an ultrasonic detector. This is what we need for robots. here's a student modifying old equipment to see what we can use it for, and here's a modified device here. This is an ultrasonic detector running an RC car. This is no longer an RC car. So the students seem to really appreciate this kind of learning. I had them answer surveys, and they said this was good learning fun, and their second response was that it was hard, but so was college. So I loved that tenacity. So in conclusion, thank you guys very much for sponsoring our program, and have a great day.
So the things that you saw up there are just some of the small projects that we're working on. My friend Oscar that I sit next to in AP Bio is ecstatic about his board that he built for his guitar. He's like, now I don't have to go and buy a $100 amp for my guitar. Now I just build it in Mr. Hayes' office. And it's great to see it work because we have our robotics club and we have our Arduino club. And Arduino is a little bit different from robotics because it's more raw and it has a little more circuitry, and it's really raw. You know, we get our stuff from Radio Shack and bring it in and make stuff. Okay. So besides from Arduino, we also have robotics, like you guys had earlier mentioned today. Paris High, luckily we're able to school to hold our FTC competition, and not missing on Paris. Paris High didn't miss out on the fun. Actually, there were a lot of teams that did a great job on there. I stalked in myself, and Paris High's team was made semifinalists of 6 out of 25 schools. So we never miss out on the fun of things that happen on our own campus. Also, besides from all the robotic stuff, winter formal, coming back from refreshed from our Christmas break, Paris High is back in full swing. Many students have wonderful memories of a winter formal that was held on December 9th during the Festival of Lights at the Riverside Convention Center. Quite an enjoyable experience. Everyone had a blast with a wide array of masks worn because this year our theme was masquerade. Full of wonder and dance. It was a great time, and it really was. Okay. That's the end of my report. Now, Hannah will take it over.
Hello, everyone. Next week, ASB will be working with Assistant Principal Ms. Lucas and the RCOE, which stands for Riverside County Office of Education. Training will take place next week with lunchtime activities to follow throughout the year. Every 15 minutes is a program that increases the awareness of the dangers of drinking and driving. The name comes from the statistic that every 15 minutes a life is taken in alcohol-related accidents. Open house is scheduled for the 29th of this month. I invite you all to come over and visit our classrooms, purchase any one of the numerous snacks for sale by the various clubs and campuses at the Jamboree that proceeds to open house. Our student of the month for January is Paris High's wide receiver Isaiah Logan. In addition to his participation in football, he is a member of BSU and an all-around great student. Paris High's January teacher of the month is Miss Jackie Cooper. Thank you, Miss Cooper, for all your hard work in the solar boat competition, robotics, and your dedication to the students of Paris High. She isn't here tonight, though, huh? Someone I am very proud of is the District Teacher of the Year, awarded to our ASB teacher, Mr. Rodriguez, and to Angel Love Burns from CMI. He was here but had to leave to attend, or he is still here.
No, he's still here.
Oh.
He stayed. He stayed.
And they'd also mentioned that. Like you guys had mentioned earlier, so if any of you are wondering why we have clothespins randomly clipped to you, let me explain. In October, ASB participated in a contest to bring awareness to the issues that negatively affect teen drivers, such as texting and driving or messaging with the radio and not looking at the road. The contest took place over 4 weeks and had many stages, such as an observational survey summarizing data and pledge drive, and the creation of safe slogans that can be found on the clothespins. Think of the clothespins as a form of low-tech texting that delivered a message promoting safe driving to our targeted audience, the teens of Paris High. I brought with me a video that includes that better shows what we did.
Texting. Right here. Thank you.
So some of the pins that you see around us, for example, this one says drive at pace. It's not a race. They're just a wide array of them. And what we did, we literally went around like passing periods to class, and we clipped them on all our friends and just random people we didn't know. And this one says don't text back, keep it at 10 and 2. So, and it just helped implement it. And we did a great job. It was a fun time showing everyone, and we did get our check. Yeah. As always, thank you for your time and attention, and have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley and Hannah. Trustee Twyman.
From Pinacati Middle School, Omar Elizondo and Renee Murillo.
Good evening, President Nelson, members of the board, Dr. Greenberg, members of the cabinet. I am Omar Elizondo, Pinacati's ASB president. And here with me tonight is Renee Murillo, Pinacati's ASB secretary. Thanks for having us here so we can report on all of the wonderful things happening at Pinacati. On Saturday, January 10th, members of our robotics club participated in the robotics competition at Paris High School. We would like to thank Paris High School's Diane Martin and all others who put on this event and for allowing our Pumas to help. We also want to thank the robotics club advisor, Ms. Brenda Harris, and our Pumas who volunteered as runners. Their presence and service is generating talk of a future middle school competition. Hopefully, the first one will be at Pinacati in our beautiful gym. Way to go, Puma Robotics. Now here's Renee.
Last Thursday, our Lady Pumas got off to a fast start during their first basketball game of the season against Mountain Shadows. Our starters led the first quarter as the Pumas went up 20-0 in just a few minutes and 30-0 by the half. The entire team played with enthusiasm and humility. The final score of the game was 38-9. Congratulations to Coach Meyer and our Lady Pumas on their first win of the season. They also won yesterday 32-19 against Monte Vista. Now they are 2-0. The boys basketball team also won their first game last Thursday, 43-17. They won league championship last year, and they are looking to do it again. The entire team played tough defense. Overall, it was a great team effort, exemplary sportsmanship, and a wonderful way to start the season. Unfortunately, they lost yesterday 26-25 against Monte Vista. This broke a 13-game winning streak that started last year. But it's okay, they'll come back, and now back to President Omar.
Last day, coding day, was a huge success. This month, Mr. Unatine is starting a coding club. A lot of students are interested. 98 students so far have signed an interest list. We are looking for more clubs like these to keep our students connected and involved and to help them become college and career ready. Now back to Renee.
We have a couple of upcoming events. First of all, coming up in February, we are going to host an after-school basketball tournament for schools with the club Think Together. Think Together is an after-school club that many students enjoy. Also, the Valentine's Dance is coming up in February, and it is usually our biggest dance of the year. Also, our clubs are starting up again, like art, dance, club life, girls fitness, soccer, yearbook, wrestling, and writing club. Some are even excited for tasks to start up again so they can get extra help on their homework. Our 8th graders are getting very excited about the second and final semester of the 8th grade year. They are making sure that they are passing all of their classes. We want to leave Pinacati loud and proud, showing Puma pride.
Thank you all again. Thank you all again for everything you do for Pinacati and making sure our school strives to be the best school we can be. This is our report for this month. We're looking forward to seeing you next time. We will report on more awesome activities and on our open house. Thank you.
Thank you, Omar and Renee. Trustee Arouse.
Thank you, Mr. Lenison. From the Academy, Students Rep, Saul Maurilio and Isaac Thompson.
Good evening, President Nelson, members of the school board, Dr. Greenberg, and the entire cabinet. My name is Saul Murillo. Sadly, my friend Isaac couldn't be here today, so it'll just be me. And I'm a little nervous, to be honest. I've never done this. Yeah. All right. And I'm sure many of you watched the State of the Union address last night as President Obama laid out where we have been, where we are now, and where we would like to be. We would like to use that same format. At the beginning of this semester, more than half of our classmates returned to Heritage, Paloma, Parasai, and Pinacati. Some even went back to the lake. We want to congrats them on their accomplishments. Hopefully that's me one day going back to my regular school. I would love that. Some of the things that we have done before and will keep doing includes attendance, incentives, our Friday night club. We'll be sponsoring creating a new culture of kindness the first week. My bad. No. We'll let you know next time how that turns out. Our Bible club continues to meet during lunch on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Our reading incentive program allows any student to read 3 books. They write three responses to literature to earn a free sweater. That's pretty cool. We also have some great field trips planned for this semester, including a visit to the Museum of Tolerance and attending the 15th Annual Youth Summit, sponsored by the Riverside County Youth Commission. We are also planning a career day. We'll let you know when we have that calendar, so you guys can join us if you have time. Today we had an assembly by Mr. Sergeant Frank Puebla from Paloma. That was amazing. I mean, he's a great speaker. I would like to be like him someday. I don't know. He inspired us to break free from all of our programming and set new goals and actually make a better life for ourselves. We personally want to thank Master Sergeant Puebla for taking time to give us a speech. We appreciate his time at the academy, and as we hear every morning in the announcements, last but not least, be polite to everyone around you and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Saul. From CMI, Cadet Corporal Peter Cortez.
We'll explain our friends in a second. Good evening. My name is Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Miguel Lopez. Joining me today is Cadet Captain Omar Guerra, and we'll be bringing the CMI announcements for you. If I can get this open. First of all, tomorrow from 7:30 a.m. to 2:45 p.m., CMI will be having a blood drive with live stream. I believe this is the first blood drive that our school has done. It's definitely been the first one since I've been here, and a whole bunch of cadets are exciting and signing up, and it's a great opportunity to be able to assist other people who really need this. 20% of all blood donations come from high school students, and CMI is very proud to be part of that 20%. CMI is also starting a new club along with our other array of clubs. It's called Friday Night Live. It's a nationwide youth development program based around the ideas of community outreach, environmental protection, and healthy alternative activities, which goes along with our spirit of giving back to the community with our clubs like Interact and Early Act and just our mandated community service that we do. It's a whole part of our school, and we're glad to have this club as another addition to that service. On January 27th, there will be a parent night for all our seniors that will hopefully be graduating this year. It's going to involve FAFSA and DREAM Act information along with graduation gear information, so all of our seniors are really fortunate to be able to have this. This Saturday, January 24th, we're going to be holding our first CASI boot camp session of the year, where all our sophomores can go in and get prepared for the CASI so they can score perfect 400s on each section, as they tend to do. Also, our student of the month this year, Cadet Command Sergeant Major Riotes Musni. Great cadet. She's been with CMI for as long as I've been, all 6 years, and we've endured a lot together. She's currently the Regiment Command Sergeant Major, who's in charge of all of the military activities going on with the regiment. Along with me, we coordinate a lot of events. So she's definitely worked very hard to earn this great thing for her, and we're very proud of her. So great job, Rio. Our cadets are also practicing for virtual drill, which is a California Cadet Corps activity where we videotape us doing drill and then send it so it can be reviewed. And then if we get selected, we go up to, I believe, Camp San Luis Obispo, so we can actually compete before California Cadet Corps judges. And speaking of drill, I bet you're wondering what these trophies are for. CMI, our drill team is outstanding, I would have to say. We're a young school. We've only been around for 10 or 11 years. But our drill team has really advanced thanks to people like Major Gary Pearson and our past commandants and our current commandant. And some of the trophies we have are from this past Saturday. We won 3 trophies. The one I'm holding right now is second place Inspection Pad E Color Guard.
Hello. And then the trophy on my right hand is for the second place drill for Pad A of the Color Guard. And then on my left hand is for Pad B, which is for the drill.
So I believe we started off the semester quite well. We just had these lying around in our car, so we thought we'd just bring them in and share them with you. Thank you very much for your attentiveness and everything during this meeting. Thank you for having us, and we surely enjoyed our time here. I hope you guys have a good evening.
Thank you, Miguel and Omar. Okay. PSEA President Paul Clay.
I have to take care of something first. I'm always following the kids, and they leave things behind.
Thank you.
I have one, and it's stop the base if that's the case. And I do want to point out that I mostly listen to Dean Martin, so it's not an issue. We know. Thank you once again for this opportunity to address the board, and Happy New Year. it is starting off, actually for me, quite well. So I'm hoping everybody else is having a good time. My speech got a little longer. I apologize. I do have to respond to something I heard from Dr. Greenberg. There hasn't been much teacher input that I know of into the design of these classrooms, and we've had problems with that before. Among the other problems, for instance, little things like the light switches, not the light switches, I'm sorry, the thermostats are placed right by the doors at Heritage so that students can conveniently lower them or raise them as they care to when they walk into the classroom or leave, things like that. Usually we would try and have those a little further away. There were schools and classes where chairs and tables, desks were on rollers, which is really not a good idea, especially in a middle school environment. There was lack of venting in science classrooms, lack of adequate cabinets for storage. At Heritage, for instance, if you've been there at lunchtime, you'll notice that the lunch line actually blocks access to the discipline office, the teacher's lounge, the front office, and they have to maintain a space, a break, for the access into the other classrooms in the same building, as well as access for students who are leaving the lunchroom. Legendary lack of shade over at Paloma Valley High School that required lengthy and costly remediation, not to mention the historic traffic flow problems at both Heritage and Paloma Valley. So leaving this in the hands of the experts does not help, for the teachers. The teachers do certainly want to have some input in what's going into our classrooms. That's a partial list, all I could think of in the minutes I had. I wanted to address 3 problems and explain how they all come together. A+. I want to say, in all due respect to Will Warren, who is a personal friend of mine, and I've worked with him for years, and I have the greatest respect for him. I think he's done a great job with A+, as far as he can go. But the problem is now, A+ has been changed drastically, and really without adequate input by the teachers. The essential truth is that the students, not all, and I taught this class, so I know it isn't all, but students will find a way to cheat on this. And many of the teachers who do teach this complain about that being one of the biggest problems they have. So now, instead of having teacher supervision of these classes, the students are taking A+ home, and they're doing it on their Chromebooks at home. This is probably going to open wide the floodgates of cheating in A+. Special education. Each side has had its own bundles of issues. I've talked about some of these before. For instance, the fact that special education teachers, certain ones, were required to spend a half an hour a day more doing their duties than anyone else without pay. Also, although students in special education are supposed to be in an inclusive environment, in many cases, 12, 14, 15 or more special education students are in a single class. That really reduces this impact of being inclusive. It becomes a special education class. Their support classes, as I understand it, are being reduced or cut. There are also endless and needless trainings scheduled for the special education teachers that actually impacts our schools negatively when it happens. They're all pulled out at the same time, impacting our substitutes. And so we do have these chronic, momentary, one day at a time, shortages of substitutes. The math department. All high school sites have been severely impacted with our version of this new math. Neither integrated math nor math pathways have textbooks. This is what passes for a textbook in integrated. This is it. There's no support material, teacher guide, answer key, nothing to help the teacher at all in this. Pathways has nothing at all. This is a plan for failure in math, and I'm hearing a lot of complaints from the teachers that they don't have adequate guidance in this. Now let's put it all together. At Heritage, just this semester, more than a dozen special education students who failed the first semester of Integrated 1 were placed in second semester without having mastered the first semester. That, too, is going to increase their failure rate. Keep in mind, there is a first semester class being taught this semester in which they could be enrolled. And in fact, they should have first priority in this class, but instead they're being placed in A+. A+ does not provide the instruction and support these students require. Also, please keep in mind, these are all juniors and seniors I'm talking about, and they have already failed this same semester class at least twice before. They are ones who need the most support, not the least, and they're getting, really, by being shuttled into A+, the least support. So these are some of the issues that are being brought to me literally, and in this case, moments before this meeting began. So I do want you to be aware of this. These are all compounding problems that we do need to have addressed. And I thank you. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. CSEA President Claudia Davis.
Good evening, President Nelson, members of the board, Superintendent Greenberg, and Cabinet. My name is Claudia Davis, and I'm the new CSEA President. It is a great honor to be speaking with you this evening. I'd just like to let you know we have a new e-board, which consists of Alvin Hill, Vice President, Teresa West, Secretary, Lori Hayes, Treasurer, Helen Stimick, Chapter Public Relations Officer, Susan Adams, Chief Union Steward, and past President Rob Colvin. It has been a little busy the short 21 days that I have been president. Adam Weinberger and I went to the association board meeting this past Saturday in Desert Sands, and it was very informative. We had negotiations, and I will say it went well. I think it did. I look forward to working with you, administration, and staff. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Claudia. Okay, the invitation to address the Board of Trustees. We've got 3 takers today. Andrew Paulson, World Geography course.
Good evening. I'm Andrew Paulson. I teach AP Human Geography at Paloma Valley High. Love the course, very passionate about it. And I know later on in the night we're going to be talking about A through G requirements and how world geography might need to not be a requirement to graduate from high school here in our district. And I just hope that you guys, that's a big decision. And I hope you guys get teacher input and ask us, especially those of us who teach that subject matter, on ideas we have about that. Because one, World Geography is an A through G approved course. It's a G elective on that list. And so taking that away from students as a requirement then means they have to get it somewhere, and I know there's places they can, but it's a great place to get them started on that track right away. And it's a great place to get them going. And taking that away and then putting them in electives that aren't A through G approved, I know they're great classes. Avid is a great class. There's other great classes at our schools that are great electives, but they're not A through G approved, and therefore they don't help them get into CSUs or UCs. And so I don't know if that's a wise move. And then the other thing is that I know part of the reason that people feel like geography is not that important or it's not a relevant course is because it's antiquated, and that's because it hasn't been supported for almost 20 years. The textbooks at Paloma are from 1998, and there's a lot of changes that have happened in the world since then. And so so I would suggest let's invest in the course, let's update it, and make it something that is relevant and something that is powerful. And that leads me to my last point, is just I have a lot of ideas on how to do that. I have a lot of ideas on how to incorporate the Chromebooks. even my advanced students, I teach the best and the brightest, I say, of the whole area in my AP Geography class, of the freshman class. The future valedictorian is in my class. And they struggle with some of the tech skills. And because they're not growing up with some of that as much. They know how to use a touch screen on an iPhone, but they don't know how to use classic skills. And they need to have that if they're going to do well in their next classes, if they're going to do well in the SBAC. They need that, and that can happen in a geography freshman course. If they're all in it, every single one of them, and they're taking that, they get those important tech skills, and they're learning about the world at the same time. And in our globalized world, both those are super important. And so I really, and I don't have much time, but I have a lot of ideas. My colleagues have a lot of ideas. And so I just ask that you guys talk to us, because I think there's a powerful opportunity here to make this geography course something that really can solve a lot of issues for our students. So thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Okay. On the topic of Parent University, Carol Avidrez.
Good evening, everyone, board members. Is Parent University ongoing at other sites? Is it funded through the district? Heritage High School and Paris High received the 21st Century Assets Grant. They were awarded over $295,000 a year for 5 years. Can some of it go towards a sewing class? We had people come from Temecula, a lady and 2 teenagers. We had 2 ladies from San Jacinto. One has 1 arm and she sews. The Heritage High School teens, boys and girls from Paris, Sun City, Romoland, and Homeland. We were all there at the sewing school. Now, your mission statement, excuse me, our mission is to mobilize parent power and encourage greater family involvement in developing a lasting learning partnership in which parents support their children in achieving academic and personal success. So how many of us stand behind this mission statement? Now, men can become tailors, women can open up their shops and do alterations. There's a Haynes factory near Ramona Expressway for sewing undergarments. Is there any school in our district that has home economics? It's very important. Now, myself as a grandmother, I took a middle school and a high school from Heritage to learn how to sew alongside with me. Besides the other students and parents and grandparents, we had men, we had boys. It's very important. My grandson outdid me. He sewed better than I did. It was embarrassing for me. But I truly believe, being a resident here since 1960, going to Paris Valley Junior High School, where Mr. Holstrom was a teacher there years ago. Oh, wait a minute, where's Mr. Holstrom? Oh, he's gone. Oh, okay. You sort of look like him. I'm sorry, I mistook you. I'm sorry. And anyway, I'm sorry. You look okay. Anyway, I believe it's very important to stand by our children and grandchildren because they need to learn how to cook and sew. When the men leave the house, do they know how to sew a button? Do they know how to boil water? There's many things that boys and girls need to learn. We had 1 semester of cooking, 1 semester of sewing, and years later, I didn't do nothing, but I was so happy when Heritage High had the sewing class my grandson told me about, and I was going to it, and I was so disappointed when they stopped it. We really need it, because even the boys and girls, that we had boys there from high school interested in sewing, and so we really need it. Please consider it. Please, we really need it. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. And Cynthia Clark.
Good evening, board members and everyone present. My name is Cynthia Clark, and I just figured out I've been around here since 1990. That was a good one. But anyways, I would like the board to consider changing 8.3, which is the student representatives to the Board of Trustees, up to 8.2, the district update by the superintendent. No offense to you. I'd like you to switch. The kids come before the superintendent. That's why I don't speak a lot, because, I'm out there. So anyways, I read normally what I say. The student reps at all the schools stay after school for ASB, etc. That means they most likely have not eaten, done homework, or anything else to be done for the next day of school. And some of these students have jobs or need to watch the younger children and their families. So please consider doing this for all students here tonight, and put the student representatives to the Board of Trustees at 8.2, and then that would bring the district update by the superintendent to 8.3. Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia. Okay, consent calendar. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, please vote.
And as usual, I'd like it in the minutes. Thank you. Wrong one.
Okay, introduction of promoted and or new employees if necessary.
Not necessary.
Okay. Okay, oral report on community parent outreach.
All right, Mrs. Savage, you're on.
Thank you, Board President Nellison, board members, Superintendent Greenberg, Cabinet, and audience. Every month we celebrate those wonderful parent volunteers that give so graciously and give their hearts and soul to our students and our staff at each one of our sites. So if I could please ask, I don't know, Teresa, are you in the audience anywhere? No. Nope. Okay. So from CMI, and I don't see the seat. Ruba, would you come on up? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Diane, do you want to do this? No. Because she is really the mom of Parent University with parent liaisons. You know, RoboMom does all kinds of things. I think she should. Come on up, Diane.
Right?
Yeah. Would you like to do this? This is Lucy Chavez. She's your parent representative. Okay, she here. Okay. She's not here. Okay. Okay, so what do you want to say? So we'd like to honor our parent volunteer for the month of January.
For those of you who don't know Ms. Chavez, and unfortunately she's not here, but I'll make sure to talk to her and tell her and present her this in front of our formation. She's amazing. She's always at school. She volunteers her time always, whether it involves her daughter or not. She creates those butcher paper and decoration for the walls, which I could not do for the life of me. It will be crooked, and she's always helping us. She's also on our military advisory board. She does the minutes. If she misses once, she feels guilty, and she's apologetic. She's really great. So I'm very glad she's getting this award, and I'll make sure to pass on the message.
Lucy also participates on the Military Advisory Council and has done that for the last 2 years. So really an important part of Lucy.
Correct.
Is it?
Yeah, those are. So I'd like to bring up Mr. Morgan because we have a couple of parents, Mrs. Maria de la Cruz and is Maria here? And Bibi Mendoza. So, Mr. Morgan, I'd like to share these monthly recognitions for our parent volunteers. So if you could please see that they get to the parents if you'd like to share some of their efforts and work that they do at Pinacati. Please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, our report, local control accountability plan.
Here you go, Mrs. Savage. You're on again.
Thank you very much. Again, thank you, Board President Nellison and board members and Superintendent Greenberg, Cabinet, and the public. I just want to share with you that I'm going to make this quick because this is kind of, this isn't as showery or ostentatious or fun as the rest of the board meeting has been, and I apologize for that because this is the meat of why we're here. And last year, as you know, we began the process with the local control and accountability plan, which I will refer to as LCAP because I don't want to get tongue-tied. This is a descriptive path of how we're going to demonstrate growth for our students. And I'm just going to walk you through because there's been many changes. And board, please feel free to ask me any questions in between, but I want you to know it's a different template. We have a different this year that we're working on, and our organization of how we're handling the LCAP is a little bit different. So I wanted to update you because come May and June, you will be reviewing the LCAP, and with 2 board meetings in June, with one being a public hearing, we are hopeful for approval so it can go on to RCOE and on to the state. Okay, the key points of LCAP continue to be engagement, stakeholder engagement, as well as goals and progress indicators and actions, services, and expenditures. And I'm not going to go into extreme depth, but I want you to know that everything is outcome-based. The stakeholder engagement, this is totally, stakeholder engagement is so crucial because we continue to look at outcomes, student outcomes, process outcomes, and everything also has to be very aligned. The goals and progress indicators, we had goals, and what I did was I did bring copies of our LCAP 2014 if you want to reference back to that. But the goals and progress indicators, definitely we focus on the 8 state priorities, and we'll present kind of a strategic as well as broad level goals and progress indicators. From that, we do a needs analysis, or we're constantly in the world of doing needs analysis through all kinds of data. And from that, we will determine what the needs are. What are those gaps? What are the needs of our students? What are the needs of our community? What are the needs of our staff? And we design actions and also assign services to those. Those actions and services have to align to expenditures. They have to align to the monies. So last year, we did numerous stakeholder meetings, and there were lots of participants that included community members, staff, students, parents. We had, it was open to pretty much, we had PSEA and CSEA. It's very open. There's an open invitation for anyone to attend any of our stakeholder meetings. Last year, we conducted them primarily over at Student Services Center. And it was great. The participants were exemplary. To walk in and have to do study sessions and look at data and determine what are the needs of our district is a very difficult job, especially if you're not in the educational field. So with that, this year, because all the sites, they also have to do what we call a SIPSA, a single plan of student achievement. And in order to do those SIPSAs, they also have to look at their specific data, determine growth, determine improvement, or determine no improvement, and justify that. If we have extended expenditures towards a certain action, we have to, and we didn't show any improvement. I think Dr. Greenberg had shared, when no improvement is shown over a year, 2 years, 3 years, they begin to look at what monies are being attributed to us or being extended to us, and those can be cut. We have to demonstrate improvement. We have to demonstrate that we have done a very intense, rigorous data analysis and written our goals in accordance to the needs of our students. So realizing that the sites, it is very important for sites to articulate that information, engage their community, their school site community. We have kind of incorporated our stakeholder meetings into their school site council meetings, their ELAC, and even their PTA. Any advisory group that includes parents and students, their participation, rather than having people come to a whole separate meeting. So with this is a first draft of the meetings that are being held at each one of the respective sites. You'll note that CMI is not included on that list because they, unfortunately for CMI, they have to do their own LCAP, but I didn't put their stakeholder meetings on here, and we can include those at a later date. We also will be doing stakeholder meetings. LCAP will also be on the agenda for the district ELAC and Title I meetings, which will take place at the Student Service Center. So our LCAP has 4 primary focus goals. All students will attain proficiency in all academic areas. Pretty broad. It becomes very specific when we write specific objectives that are, and they're all measurable. If you look at our LCAP for 2014, it may indicate that students will demonstrate a 3% gain in English language arts, proficiency, et cetera, et cetera. But number 1 goal includes a lot. It includes academic performance. So we're looking at anywhere from benchmarks, end-of-level tests, standardized testing. We'll begin to look at some SBAC. You name it, it's involved in that across all content areas. Goal 2, all students will graduate from high school prepared for post-secondary and career. What are we offering? Are we offering, do students have A through G access and success? You heard from Paloma Valley the need to have certain courses. Do we have those courses? Do the students have the opportunity to have courses that really will ready them for post-secondary and career? CTE also becomes very involved in that process. So there's many, many objectives that come under Goal 2 as well. Number 3, Goal 3, all departments and sites will provide a safe and positive learning environment for all students and staff. Sounds pretty simple. Keep the campus clean. They'll come, have them enjoy. Well, it becomes this is a very intense goal because it talks about, in the LCAP, it also talks about, do we have facilities that really promote positive learning, really promote safety? This goal also includes student discipline. I think with the onset, we've been doing PBIS, which Dr. Newman has shared quite a bit about, and getting those types of methodologies and procedures in place, we'll be able to meet this goal. And the last goal, secure and strengthen homeschool community connections and communications. We heard about the parent university. We need to do definitely a better job in making those connections and communications happen. Okay, there are some guiding principles that have come out in this new LCAP template, and I bet you'll love this word, but subsidiarity. Yeah, you can all say it. It's kind of, it's kind of a nice word.
Somebody in Sacramento come up with that one?
Yes, they did. Subsidiarity. And that includes decision-making. And the statement is decision-making at the local level. And as you all know, the LCAP and LCFF really help with local level initiatives. So decision-making is most effective at a local level. Flexibility to use the LCFF funding to improve student outcomes. Transparency. I think the greatest principle that that has come from LCAP is the transparency. You know, we used to have all types of budgets from categorical to this and that, and we never really posted them. We should now, I mean, all those budgets, the LCAP monies, will be very transparent. People should be able to pull it up off the website and see what monies are being appropriated for what types of actions. Student focused. It's based on the assessment of local needs. Those needs are plentiful. All of the districts participating in LCAP, I have to say, this is that needs analysis and determining what the needs are, where the gaps are, and assigning appropriate and aligned expenditures is a big task. So overall, the major themes are the local goals are focused on improved student outcomes, and all goals have to be aligned with the spending plan. Some of the principles of accountability, as you can see, we've talked a little bit. We're big focus on data, stakeholder engagement, and measuring progress. Measuring progress and the focus on data are not just yearly. We look at the end of the year results. It's over time. We have to look at trends, whether it be looking at things from 1 to 3 years, and determine and make statements. Did we make improvement over time? Has that been a continuous trend? I mean, you hear about why are we doing things the same way that we did 15 years ago and we're getting the same results. So this LCAP this year is a story about us. Where have we been successful? What are the next steps? Where do we need to make improvement? Et cetera, et cetera. So the LCAP has what they call an annual update template. I believe I gave board members and cabinet a copy of that. If you just want to take a gander, it's kind of confusing. What we do is we take this year's goals, input it into this template, and then we get to compare the expected outcomes, budget, or the expenditures, to the actuals and the estimated actual expenditures. I'm not going to go into too much depth because I can see you guys aren't really. This is a big process. It's a big process. But this annual update section, what it does is it says we have to indicate progress made for each stated goal in the school year that's coming to a close, assess the effectiveness of those actions and services, and then describe the changes in the LCAP for the next 3 years. So we all will have like crystal balls or those Super 8 balls. You know, you ask the question and you flip them over and it says, yes, I do. Do you remember Super 8 balls? None of you remember those. Okay. That's kind of where it is.
Dr. Good does.
So just to give you an idea, to kind of sum this up, the stakeholders, and if any of you are sitting in the audience and you are thinking of being a participant in this process, you don't have to sit through every single meeting, but if you'd like to come, this is just a sampling, a very minute sampling of some of the questions that we address for each goal, each state priority, and each subgroup that is a focus area. And I'm not going to read these out loud, but I think the most difficult question are the last two. What differences are there between the budgeted expenditures and estimated actuals? And what were the reasons for those differences? These are just a sample, one little minute sample of what needs to be addressed in the LCAP. So currently, I just want to share with you that sites do an ongoing monitoring they do a data disaggregation, they do a needs assessment, they've been meeting with their advisory groups. LCAP will be on the agenda of all the advisory meetings, and they will be looking and writing summary statements, their story, according to the LCAP goals. And so that concludes this little debriefing or front-loading of LCAP. Questions?
Just as a reminder, board, again, it isn't just the SBAC test, although that's very important. rubber meets the road in California this year with the SBAC test that our students are taking, but we have to look at improving graduation rates. We have to look at reclassifying English learners, and we're going to be attendance, reducing chronic absenteeism, reducing suspensions and expulsions. All these things are going to make up this template that we have to improve on. So we'll get baseline data this year, but I can tell you, if the state's saying you have control over the money, they're going to expect control over the outcomes. And so we have to spend the money on those kids who need it the most. And you'll see expenditures and plans coming together focusing on that, because if we don't do it, again, just like there was No Child Left Behind jail, persistently underperforming schools, all the titles they gave, they'll do the same thing with this if we don't take the money and do what we need to do for those students. Again, we can't keep doing what we're doing and expect to get different results. So thank you very much,
The
Marcy.
state, just to share with you, they are developing an evaluation rubric, which should be out October 2015. In the meantime, we have to be very accountable and justify our performance, but very curious to see how that rubric comes about. So, Ed, do you have a question, or do you want to moan, or are you just...
Thank you, Marcy. Okay, or reports A through G graduation requirements.
Some of what we're looking at as far as graduation requirements and A through G completion. One of our charges with the LCAP and the changes in accountability is to increase the number of students that are college and career ready. We've been doing quite a bit with our career program, building up our Project Lead the Way classes, expanding our ag programs to have their courses meet more requirements, and looking at bringing in other programs. Right now we're looking at a collaborative with Mount San Jacinto to bring an auto program to Paloma Valley. So we're looking at some of those CTE type programs, but tonight I'm here to talk to you about the other part, the A through G completion, and what we're looking at within the district. I want to share with you real quick just what the A through G requirements are for the state of California. 2 years of social science, which is 1 year of world history, 1 year of U.S. history, 4 years of English, and these all have to be approved courses by the UC system. 3 years of college prep math, including up through Algebra 2 or equivalency, and we're going integrated, so it would be integrated 3. 2 years of lab science, and there has to be there's 3 there, biology, chemistry, physics, they have to take 2 of those. 2 years of foreign language or equivalency, because a kid could take a fluent language speaker could take the SAT 2 and meet that requirement also. 1 year of a fine art, and then 1 year of elective from any course listed above or an approved course.
Grant, can I ask you a question at this point? You've done a view of all of Riverside County.
Yes.
Who else is requiring geography other than us?
Val Verde is the only district. I checked every school district in Riverside County, and there's only one other district and that's Val Verde.
And no disrespect.
I was going to get to that at your.
Oh, great. Great. Then I'll shut up.
And I want to share with you some of the data that we have for our district on this page. We have our A through G for 2010, 11, 11, 12, 12, 13, and we have an estimate for last year because we don't have the exact numbers yet. Those are estimates, and you can see per school what the rates were, and then at the bottom it has a district total. Last year our district total was about 30.6, but that was quite an increase over the year before when it was 22.4, so we did have an 8% increase in our A through G by the estimates we have. And you can see the growth that some of the schools made also. So that's kind of good news that we were showing growth. It's just that we want to be much higher than 30.6%. That's going to be a charge that we're going to need through our LCAP, where we're saying we're going to increase the A through G rate by it's either 3 or 4% per year. So we have some work to do there. This next one is the overall completion rate by category, because each of those categories, the A, B, C, D, those are all tied to a certain subject area. The A is math, English, and then you can see what our rates are in some of the areas. Math and science are our two lowest. And I'm going to show you on the next slide, there's something that we've done on to help with that. And then English and those other areas. And there's two reasons why a kid does not make A through G. And that is what we call success and we call access. Success is if they did not receive a C or higher in the class, they did not have success in that class and meet the A through G requirements. Access is they never got a chance to take the class or they didn't sign up for that class. So access, if you look at in the math domain, our access and our success were both high on not making A through G. And we've done some things in there. We've kind of streamlined our math to be, instead of having so many different areas where the kids wouldn't get through Algebra 2, we're going with the integrated. And we've kind of created semester classes basically for that, so we can do constant restart with it, where a kid wasn't successful the first semester, they can restart it and take it the second semester if they weren't successful, and that would roll through their whole high school career. Also in science, you'll see there's a huge access issue there. And what we found is we were offering classes that were non-A through G approved for 10th graders. We were offering regular life science. We were offering environmental science, a regular physical science, and none of those courses were A through G approved. So we've done some work on that. We've discontinued offering those classes. Now the kids come in as a 9th grader, they have choice of biology, earth science, which is a G elective approved course, or get into our agricultural program, which is, again, our plant animal science for a 9th grader is G approved. The other areas there, the E and F category, if you look at that, those are where we're having our access problems for our kids, and I'm going to get into that in a second. But I want to share with you kind of what we've done to try to address some of those issues, both for success and for mostly access. Success, we have work to do to improve how our students are performing, and we have to improve the way they're accessing the curriculum and how they'll be able to perform on assessments. What we've done so far, we've conducted an educational audit with RCOE. We worked with Mark Lenore and his group last year. They went through, that's where I pulled that data from to give us those percentages to look where we're at. We didn't really know where we're at. So what that entailed is going through every single kid last year that was a senior and looking at their transcript and evaluating, did they make A through G? And then if not, what area were they deficient in? We have reevaluated and adjusted our course offerings. Like I said, we got rid of the non-A through G science classes, streamlined the math, and increased the number of foreign language teachers. A couple of our schools hired more foreign language teachers this year as their counselors were trying to push those kids into that program. And then out of that data that we found that we identified a choke points, which is where the kids are having a problem. That was at access. And we found that our graduation requirements mandate the student take 1 year of a foreign language or 1 year of fine art. There's an or in there. On the A through G requirements, it's an and. They must take 1 year of a fine art, but 2 years of a foreign language. So our graduation requirements were letting the kids out of not meeting those A through G requirements. And the other thing we did this year, just recently, we've contracted with RCOE with Catalina Cifuentes, and she's going to be working with all of our counselors. We have our second meeting with her on Friday with all the counselors, working on helping the kids meet the A through G requirements, how we can push more kids, because some of the work she's done with the school she was at and other districts showed huge growth. So we're looking at working with her. What I had there next is our current graduation requirements. We require 225 credits, and you can see there. You all can read. I don't need to read that to you. But we have 225 credits mandated. The kids take 6 classes a semester, so they can max out at 240 if they take 6 classes for 4 years. So we don't have a whole lot of wiggle room there to add other requirements in with the way we have our classes right now. So that's why we're looking at proposing making some adjustments to that. And what adjustments can be made? Well, we can look at revising our graduation requirements by splitting foreign language and the fine art requirement. So instead of an or there, we make it an and, where 1 year of required foreign language, 1 year required of a fine art. And A through G says 2 years of a foreign language, but we feel like if we can get the kids into one, we'll get the second year. Because if we put another requirement in now, we're mandating 235 credits, and are we going to be able to help the kids get there? So that's what we're suggesting, is making this change. And you heard about this earlier. Is one thing is to remove the geography as a graduation requirement, but keep the class as an elective, because it does meet a G elective right now. But like Dr. Greenberg said, we're only one of 2 districts in Riverside County that offer the class, and I have some background on why this class was brought in, because I was the principal at Paris High when we started it, because of Paris High being in the IIUSP, Immediate Intervention Underperforming Schools program, and our students were performing poorly on the social science CST. So we worked with Riverside County, and that was their suggestion: bring this class in to try to help raise CST scores. Well, we don't have CST anymore. It's not that it's not a good class. It's not valuable for kids to understand geography, but something's got to give. We have to move. We have to move somewhere, and this seems to make the most sense to make this class into an elective.
And as a former social studies teacher, any social studies teacher will tell you geography is part of social studies. It's part of U.S. history. It's part of world history. It's part of government. It's not divided. So we would still teach it. And if the board...
It's part of when you look at U.S. history, it says U.S. history and geography, world history and geography. It's all in the titles of courses as the UC and things like that look at those things.
Right. And if we come back to you later with a recommendation to do that, just want the board to know it will result in 0 teacher layoffs, meaning our social studies teachers will teach other things. We'll be fine.
A couple things have happened. We have, like when Mr. Barbeau got promoted this year at Paris to go to Paris Lake as assistant principal, they didn't replace his position at that time. They did a 6-period thing. And so there'd be one less teacher that would be there, and then we have a retirement in the district in social science. So through attrition over the next couple of years, we won't have a net loss, have to lay any teachers off.
Well, we want geography to compete with other electives, meaning and Mr. Paulson's an outstanding geography teacher at Paloma Valley. Wow, he's outstanding. But if he could still teach that class, and it could be AP human geography, and if he can get the kids to sign up, great. They can take that. But it would be a choice as opposed to a requirement, forcing the other students who don't want to take geography into foreign language. Because, again, that will help our A through G completion rate and get them hooked on foreign language. Because, frankly, if you want them to go to college, you got to have 2 years, and in some universities, 3 years.
Yeah. I just have a couple of questions. So I understand that the other districts have done away with geography, and Dr. Greenberg has kind of shared a little bit. So they are now, these other districts, they're teaching geography and those. Here's part of my concern, and you may be solving it already. Looked into it. You've seen these programs. They go up there and they have them on TV, and they'll have a microphone and anywhere in America and stick it up in somebody's face. And where is New Mexico? And they don't know where that's at or where it is. They don't know their geography, and it's really so. My concern is that they need to get it somewhere, and if that's
they get it in history. But I'll also tell you, the kids today with the technology. Frankly, if you know who the 15th president of the United States is, I don't see you all jumping for that. It's not really important. It's more important that a student can look that up, but it's more important to say what contributions did that president make to the coming of the Civil War in the United States. So really, frankly, human geography is more important, and that's changing all the time. We could buy a textbook a year and not keep up with the changes that are going on in Africa.
Maybe I don't understand geography.
But I just think social studies includes geography.
Yeah. So yeah. No, and I understand you can push a button and get a lot of this information, but basically, where's north, where's south, where's east, and where's west? And my concern is, where are you going to teach it? That's all I'm saying. and so and yeah, and so
those
yeah.
Geography is built into both world history and U.S. history as part of the program. It's in the standards for those courses, so it's
yeah.
The other thing I didn't share yet about, I didn't hit C there, which was because we need to move 10 credits. We were asking to remove health as a graduation requirement, but we'd blend it into the PE class, and we have a model of that happening at Heritage right now for the Avid kids because they couldn't get everything in their schedule. So kind of a snowball, first blush at it, what I said is we would just think about putting 90 kids, they wouldn't all be there at one time, in a PE class. But 1/3 of them every 12 weeks would go to health so that they'd rotate through their health class, through their PE class. And the same thing as we said about not laying off a social studies teacher, we wouldn't with health teachers also.
The PE teachers for that one PE class, one would be doing health all the time, essentially with 1/3 of the
Well, it would be right now we have health teachers. Some of our PE teachers have health credentials. Others don't. We have some standalone health teachers, so they would take 1/3 of your class and we have to design whether it's going to be a 9-week class, a 12-week class, how long we want that health class to be. But we're looking at blending it in there, and we have that model already happening at Heritage right now with like I said, with the Avid program.
And isn't that consistent, Grant, with what goes on in the county?
Yeah, a lot.
Very few districts require health.
Well, some do. I know, like where my kids go in Marietta, they have health, but they have a 7-period day, so it's easier to fit it in there. With a limited 6-period day, it's hard to get in everything we want to get in, but we have to make some tough choices.
But isn't it true that districts that have a 6-period day at high school generally do not have health?
Right. I know, it's a long time ago when I went through, it was in the PE class when I was in high school.
So
in the 70s.
So in the process,
yes.
So in the process, that you have a committee, and then this whole arrangement, you include staff.
We've talked about it through our Ed Planning Council at those meetings. I had a social science SAC meeting yesterday with all the department chairs within the district, and we had a conversation there about what we were looking at doing and the reason for it.
Yeah. Okay.
We won't bring a recommendation back to you, though, until we sit down with social studies teachers regarding geography and health with the health and PE teachers, certainly.
This is kind of, I'm sorry, Ms. Twyman.
So a 9th grader could actually take world history and AP geography?
A 9th grader, we want to leave world history until the 10th grade. We're looking to get them into another A through G elective, whether it be foreign language or their fine art class at that time. We want to get them into those A through G classes as soon as possible to keep them on that pathway.
When would they take the AP?
They could take the AP geography class as a freshman. That could be their elective class during their freshman year.
In 9th and 10th grade, they take world history.
Yes. So this is kind of if we made those changes with the graduation, still 225 credits, and you see the 10 for foreign language, 10 for fine art. Any other questions or concerns, anything for me at this point?
I have a question. So are you saying that you would get credit for that for half a year? I mean, it seems like, are you saying that they would take half, split, where it says split foreign language?
No, right now our graduation requirement says it's an or. They take one year of a foreign language or 1 year of a fine art. I'm saying take that or away and make it an and. They'll take 1 year of a foreign language and 1 year of a fine art.
Okay. Thank you.
Right. All right. Nothing else? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Grant. Okay. Written reports, Williams Settlement, Quarterly Uniform Complaint Report Summary. Suspension report. And approval of the 2013-14 audit report. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. President, we do have our auditor, Brian Ruff, here if the board has any questions. I first wanted to quickly apologize to the board. I thought that hard copies went out to you. You did have the electronic copy. I know it was an exciting read, so if you've read it and have questions, Mr. Ruff can answer those, or we can allow him to do a presentation, whatever is the board's desire. You certainly won't hurt his feelings if you don't need him to walk you through it.
I have a question. Now, I always go to the back page and it said no findings. Is that correct? Or
That's the page I always go to as well.
so
I remember when Mr. Ashley became a board member at the community college, he asked me that. What should I look at? And I said, just
you mentioned previous, and that was taken care of, and we know why. But other than that, it was like nothing, right?
We had a few adjustments to a few funds within the district, timing issues with accruals, but it's a very clean report.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I mean, one of the highlights I was going to know, I think you were just addressing regarding no findings finally after 8-9 years, Choice 2000 settlement.
Yeah.
So within your report, in the long-term debt section of the report, there is disclosure that will be ongoing until that settlement is paid off. But it's been a long road, and I was here at the beginning of it. We actually reported that as we were required to do, and we've worked together along the way. I know the attorneys did a lot more than I did. I just required to report it every year, and I'm happy to report that it's finally resolved. So we did. Also, I'd like to thank Chris and Candace and their staff for all their efforts. Was this your first year? This was your first year. Audits are fun, right? Yeah, they're a blast. You say it's not exciting. It was a pleasure for us. But thank them for their efforts. They have a lot of day-to-day duties on top of what we do when we come in and ask for all information to give a clean report such as this. It takes a lot of effort from district staff, school site staff, and we really appreciate that. So thank you.
Any other questions, comments? No? Okay, please vote. Okay. Thank you very much. Information items, Morale Committee update.
Tanya Davis, you're on. Talk about the great event coming forward.
Yes, just very quickly, we had included invitations for you to attend our first district-wide employee appreciation event on February 6th at Pinacati from 5 to 9. I want to say publicly that we hope all employees take advantage of this opportunity. The Employee Morale Committee is very excited to arrange it. We're finalizing plans this week. I will share it's going to be a casino night. There will be no alcohol. Strictly just a casino night, but we are bringing in a company, dealers, and having hors d'oeuvres, and we're really excited. The committee's very excited. Everybody's got a project that they're working on to bring to the table. So we hope to see all of you there. And
one of your party planners is in the back.
She is. Miss Vicki Mueller is on my committee, and Don Williamson. We have a lot of great people that are just really exciting to work with, and I think most of them will be there at the event, and we'll take an opportunity to introduce everybody to those who come. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, revolving cash report. Still cash in the revolving cash report. All right. Board's policy series 5000. Oh yeah. Series 6000 board policies. Closed session?
Not necessary, Mr. President.
Thank you. Action items, discipline, ratification of agreement of expulsion. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Please vote. Okay. Reinstatement of student discipline matters. Do I have a motion? Caroline, good to hear your voice here. Ed second. Okay, please vote. Other items by the superintendent?
Two quick ones, Mr. President. One is, as you know, board members, Mr. Holstrom was the, like our godfather on District Safety Committee. It meets 4 times a year. It meets quarterly, and Judy Miller would like to have one of you serve on it. It's a matter very important to Mr. Holstrom's heart, so if none of you volunteer, I'm going to call him on the phone and tell him that. So if you could think about it between now, you don't have to decide tonight, but I'm sure all of you are going to want to do it. And, well, Mr. Nelson and I will have a difficult time choosing among the 4 of you who might want to do that. The other item is you don't have to make a decision tonight, but Mrs. Clark has proposed revising 8.2 and 8.3. Again, you don't need to make a decision tonight, governing board, but we would appreciate any. We're fine. Staff's fine. It doesn't matter to us which way it goes. So it's up to you. And if you don't want to make a decision tonight, you can make a decision at the next board meeting and or communicate through the board president, and we'll make that happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Other items by the board. Mr. Rouse?
Thank you, Mr. Nielsen. First of all, I want to congratulate the Educational Service Department for the excellent job. The data speaks by itself. We can see a big increase in 3 years of about 36% on the A3G completion. And I'm very pleased to see an action plan that is addressing how we are going to increase that percent. And we are talking about specific actions to address the vision and the mission in the mission statement. So what I want to propose to the board, and I know that Mr. Bennett is working already on this, is to continue to analyze the data and continue to make the decisions and setting the direction of the district based on the data results. I know that he is working on the same graph that we have here on AP advanced placement classes of students who are taking those classes and the number and percentage of students who are getting a 3 or better. High school completion rate as well as proficiency levels. When I say high school completion, percent of seniors who are graduating during that year, as well as the Casey percent of students who are passing the Casey the first time and who are being proficient. I think this is excellent job, and we want to continue to use the data in order to make those decisions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rouse. Ms. Twyman?
I agree with that. I think I'd also like to see of course I forgot. So I don't know, do I? No, something you said, but anyway, I'll think of it. But the other thing I wanted to ask you is about the A through G actually listed on the courses, on the curriculum courses that are being on the agenda every month.
Right. So what Mrs. Twyman is saying, she and I had this conversation. On the agenda item, when we bring a new course to you, it says on the bottom of the item whether it's A through G or not. I think what Mrs. Twyman is asking is, can we have that on the agenda, meaning just on the 2 or 3 page agenda,
Right.
we have in parentheses A through G. Can you do that?
Yeah, I just want to share one thing.
Sure.
We can put that on there that if approved by the UCs, it will meet this requirement, because we have to, the course has to be approved by the board first, and then we submit it to the UCs, and they tell us, is it going to meet A requirement, B requirement, C requirement?
Sure.
We can give you that information and say, this is what one, as long as it's approved by the UCs.
Sure.
That information's on that course description. We just need to.
Okay.
We'll do that, Mrs. Twyman.
And I thought the last thing, how many students actually take the test as well as taking the class?
Right.
Are we talking about the AP?
She's talking about AP.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
We can get that data for you. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Twyman.
Thank you, Ms. Twyman. Ms. Cooley?
The accountability report card from every school was a lot of work, and thank you very much for doing that.
Thank the schools for doing a good job. We'll thank Ed Services for proofreading it. Fortunately, we don't have Mr. Holstrom to proofread them again, so what you see is about the 5th or 6th version. So there's some principals that are going to be in school accountability report card jail until they get this right. Now, I'm not looking at anybody in particular, but
Anyway, thank you.
yeah, and I was just told by my partner that the person who really makes sure they look pristine is our coordinator, Charles Tippy. He's the one that really makes that look good. So
You all need to know.
thank you, Mr. Tippy.
He was on vacation in Mexico, and he was emailing all of us, have you done it, have you done it? So he was a great warden, so thank you.
Yeah, we're going to have him run roughshod over the principals a little bit next year.
Is that it, Mrs. Gould?
I'm finished.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Agundes?
Yeah, as I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, I just started my 3rd year on the board, and seems like I've been here longer. No, it's a positive thing because I want to commend our students. The reports that are coming back. It's obvious that they're having a great educational experience, and also our staff. We have great staff in this district. I'm finding out, and so I'm real pleased and happy to be here.
I've been here 12.
Thank you, Mr. Agundes. And I have nothing tonight. So. Okay, motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
And don't jump all at once. All right, please vote. Okay. We do have 2 other meetings, so before CMI. I'm sorry. Meeting ending at 7:26. Thank you. Yeah, we have a few other small ones before CMI. By all means, let's take a short break and then come back.